Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Luca Motel and I'm a traditional artist based in Wisconsin, USA. And today we're doing Mermaid Day 18, which is Storm and Poison. So first off, I'm masking off the Storm Mermaid to prevent paint from sitting on or getting under it. I'm also masking off the lightning. So I really like how today's both of them turned out. I don't know if they replaced my favorite again, but they are some of my favorites, that's for sure. I liked the sketches and I really like the outcome. I'm also masking off some like ocean waves because it's supposed to be a stormy ocean. And I'm using Pebeo masking fluid, liquid and in the pen form. So here I'm using an Emily Grace Palettes paint. It's a handmade watercolor by Emily Grace. I'll leave the store linked below. And I just wanted to have a granulating but still stormy looking ocean color. And now I'm using indigo to add like the waves, the shadows of the waves. Water is one of my favorite things to paint. I don't know if I do it very effectively all the time, but I love doing it. I am an Aquarius, so my old therapist thought that it was quite entertaining that I would be so drawn to water. Which is really funny because I'm actually quite afraid of water. Like, I like swimming, but it also terrifies me. I don't have like thalassophobia. I actually really like seeing things deep underwater. I just wouldn't want to be there. Like, I hate being on boats or ships, and I hate being on water that I can't stand in. I don't know, it's silly. But I don't swim as well as I used to, and I think that's part of the reason why. When I was a kid, I used to swim all the time, and my great-grandma lost her memory. She couldn't remember almost anyone, but she remembered me because I was the swimmer. I was always swimming in her backyard. Well, not in her backyard, in a pool in her backyard. Picking the tail color was a little difficult because I wanted it to be something stormy, but I didn't want it to match the ocean too much, so I used lavender in the end, which is one of my favorite colors by Da Vinci. It's a more opaque watercolor, but you can get it pretty transparent, and it makes a really good shading color for whites, or a really good sky color for like overcast days or slightly stormy days. And it makes a really good atmospheric perspective color. It's just all around a really helpful color. Well, a lot of people wouldn't like it because it does have white in it. I am far from a watercolor purist. I use white watercolor sometimes, and I use masking fluid, and I don't like negative painting. I don't do a lot of the things that watercolors really want you to do. Or not do. I don't think there should really be any rules in art, and if there are, there's nothing wrong with breaking them. Like, I think it's important to learn things like anatomy, but if you're not enjoying it, then there's really not much point in doing it because you're just gonna burn yourself out and hate it, so. Yeah, just do what you want to do. I love doing like kinkier hairstyles because they give you so much freedom and they have so much texture. It's really fun adding little curls on the outside too. I also find it a lot easier than doing straighter hair. It's way more forgiving. I unfortunately think I made the arm too short or the hand too big, or both, for this, and it really stands out to me. Maybe you would or would not have noticed it if I hadn't mentioned it, but I just can't stop yapping, you know? I gotta say everything that's on my mind, and that's on my mind. I really liked this piece without it. That mistake, but I still really like it even with the mistake that's there. I think that the mermaid looks really happy, and I think the lightning came out really well, and it's just really fun. I don't know how much sense it makes considering they're a mermaid and they're in water and lightning would probably kill them, but they're a mythical creature, maybe they're immune to lightning. I don't know. Magic bullshit, you know? Now I'm adding final touches like highlights and outlines. And I'm adding some splashes to the water to really make it look more watery. And some sparkles. And now we're on to Poison. Poison was really fun. So it's based on a poison dart frog. Like specifically one type of poison dart frog that I don't remember the name of. But it's a rainbow one with stripes and spots. And I just love how it looked. And the first thing that came to mind when I thought of poison was like frogs and creatures. So that's what I went with. I don't think you should always go with the first thing that comes to mind, but sometimes it is the best thing. I'm masking off this mermaid just like I masked off the storm mermaid. You'll see me do that for almost every mermaid this month. I love masking fluid so much. It makes things so much easier. And now I'm adding a handmade watercolor by Atrium Hoshino. I'll also leave them linked below, but I do think their store is currently closed. And I don't know if or when they'll be opening it again. But they make some really interesting multicolored granulating paints. Some have a little bit of shimmer in them too. So now I'm masking off all the parts that are going to be black because I don't want the pigment of the lighter paints to affect how the black goes down. And I don't want it to have a weird undertone. Even though the black is darker and more opaque than the colors I'm putting down for the rainbow gradient, it can still affect the outcome, so I'm just masking it off to be safe. Out of these two, I think this one came out my favorite. It looks really good. Not to toot my own horn, but I just love it. I love painting rainbows and gradients, and the black really contrasts nicely. And I like the expression. I really like the dichotomy of the expressions between the two. Like, one is super happy and one is super sad. I don't have a specific story in mind for either one of them, but this one is probably in like some kind of tank or something. That's why their hands are against something facing the viewer, probably glass. And they're sad because they can't touch you because they're poison, and you won't let them touch you because you'll die. Maybe they're like from those romance things where it's like forbidden love or something. Or maybe they're just lonely. Who knows? I don't have a story in mind. Make up what you will. I'd like to hear what you make up if you do. So now I'm removing all the masking fluid, and then comes the best part, which is adding all the black. And I think it's the best part because it really makes everything come together and pop and adds so much contrast that was needed. This is a bit of a tedious process, but it's not as bad as like painting jewels. That's very tedious. I only mentioned that because I was doing that yesterday as practice. It has nothing to do with MerMay, it's just something I was doing for practice. So for the hair I made it indigo instead of black, and then I used black for the lines because I didn't want it to match everything too closely and blend in with it. So yeah, we're coming to the end where I'm adding some line art and highlights. So let me know which one of these two is your favorite. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a great day. Hope to see you again next time. Bye bye.